Now here we can get into some free money situations. And for this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up pictures probably in the comments or something, because I took some screenshots of the breakdown of the money and how it's going to be allocated. But the third COVID stimulus is referred to as, I'm going to call it ARPA, but it's actually the Approving American Rescue Plan Act. I don't know why the government loves to come up with these long names, but we'll call it ARPA. And for the first time, so let's go over. So the states are receiving $195 billion. Some counties are receiving $65.1 billion, right? Remember, Broward County has $53 million in rental assistance funding, FYI. They have some other money that's going to be allocated to small businesses. I don't know how they're going to be breaking that all down, but do know that there is rental assistance in the city of Broward County. In the county of Broward, and they have $53 million. So if you need rental assistance, go ahead, reach out to Broward. But just so you know, Pompano Beach is actually going to be receiving $25.7 million from the ARPA Act, from ARPA, right? And so last night they were talking about, and they did approve this, the proposal for how they're going to actually allocate that $25.7 million. So there's 4 categories. Public health emergency expenditures, which deals with vaccinations, testing, PPEs, that sort of thing. Responding to negative economic impact of COVID-19. The third one is government services. And so this is the first time that Pompano is actually receiving a significant allocation, and I mean the city itself. And the fourth category is infrastructure. And they're talking about broadband, water, sewer, health services, okay? So here's the caveat. The money that's going to be used, so if you qualify or you apply for any of the assistance that's going to come out of this proposal, it's going to be from March 3rd, 2021 and forward. The only exception is going to be for rental and small business assistance. For those, because we're dealing with people that have rent that's due from well before March of this year. And so for those programs, you will be allowed to apply for money that applies to prior need, okay? Everything else is gonna be March 3rd forward, okay? All right, perfect. And just so you know, because when the government issues money like this, they do have deadlines. Like the money's not gonna be there indefinitely. So the deadlines for this project, for this funding is March 31st, 2024 is the deadline for the city to have commitments for how they're gonna use the money and where it's gonna go. And all the money has to be spent by March 31st of 2026. Guys, we're talking about 2026. So here is the breakdown of what they approved last night as far as how, and I don't have all of the dollar amounts, and that's what I'm gonna post pictures of later so that you can see how they actually are breaking it down. Do know this is subject to change in the future. If they have, all the applicants, no more people are applying for X, then they're gonna be able to move that money to Y, right? So it's not like, okay, we said we are gonna put this much to this, but no one's applying for it, and so it's just wasted money. No, it can be reallocated to other things, okay? So first and foremost, under the public health emergency expenditures, it's gonna be a vaccination incentive program here in Pompano Beach, and it's going to be $100 gift cards. They've allocated $3,250,000 to that incentive program. Commissioner McGee was a little concerned about, what she referred to as bribing people to get vaccinations. And so she proposed an amendment where in lieu of the $100 for your vaccine, you can get a $100 gift card just for showing that you had a financial hardship as a result of COVID. Now, there are other things in this entire proposal that deal with individuals who may have been impacted. And also remember, this is money that's going to be given out by city employees. And there are only so many city employees there, right? So if you are now trying to limit this $100 gift card and say it can go to people who show financial, that they were actually harmed. That means people have to submit financial statements or something to prove that they were harmed, and who's going to be reviewing all those statements? And we're only talking about $100, right? So they did vote on that motion to amend, and it was denied. It's just not feasible. And again, because there are other mechanisms for individuals to benefit through this ARPA money, it's just not necessary at this time. The approval, it was, by the way, the whole proposal was approved. I don't know if I mentioned that. Also, they mentioned last night that 60% of the residents of Pompano Beach have been vaccinated. So, yay! And so the goal is to try and get as many as the other 40% vaccinated as possible. Whatever can be done. Mayor Hardin mentioned the fact that, look, COVID is still a thing. It's not as widespread as it was last year. We are reopening, thankfully, right? But medical healthcare costs are high, right? It's not inexpensive if you get sick. And health insurance is also not cheap. There are still a lot of people who are uninsured. And so if having this incentive program gets more people vaccinated, this is actually great for the economy. It's great for health, for our community's health. And again, it's also great for the economy of the community, right? If we're not sick, we can go out and start spending money and in the community. So that's great. Let's see, they're allocating $50,000 to more COVID testing initiatives, $100,000 to public awareness about the testing and this new incentive program, because you know, it doesn't make sense to have a program that nobody knows about. You have to let everyone know that it's out there, right? So they've allocated funds for just letting everyone know, like that public awareness about the program's existence. And also one thing that they learned as a result of COVID is we need to improve and beef up our warehousing. The city, you know, you get all this PPE and whatever other equipment that was needed, and they didn't have anywhere to store it or insufficient space to store it. So they are allocating $2.2 million to the Planned Emergency Operations Center, and they're going to add some additional storage capability. So that's the first category. Second category was community response and resiliency, to which the city of Pompano Beach is going to have $1.1 million in rental assistance. Guys, this is huge. You do know evictions, we've had moratoriums for it feels like forever on evictions, and landlords are struggling. Some landlords are really, really struggling. So remember I mentioned before, there's $53 million in the county pot for rental assistance. The city of Pompano Beach has $1.1 million available for rental assistance. Also, this is another good thing, $1.1 million have been allocated to people who have owe money on their water and sewer bill. There are people that are struggling financially. And so, yes, if you are overdue, if you have an outstanding balance on your water and your sewer bill, there is money. It's $1 million in water and sewer bill assistance. So that is awesome. And finally, we're going to have $1.7 million allocated to affordable housing initiatives. In case you didn't know, Pompano Beach has a grant program for home buyers. Yes, down payment assistance. And so that's where this money is going to be going. It's going to be, and there's other initiatives, but the number one thing that I feel like a lot of people don't know exists, we do have a down payment assistance grant here in Pompano Beach. And so they're going to be allocating some of the funding from ARPA to the down payment assistance. Yay! So I'm a realtor and a real estate attorney. So anytime there's anything that benefits people getting into homes and revitalizing our community and increasing home ownership, I'm always excited. So yay! Then we're also going to have housing rehabilitation. So this is for people who currently own their homes, and it's going to be for people who are in the low and moderate income. This is for wind mitigation. So maybe you need a new roof. Maybe some people have windows that are not great. We have hurricanes and you can't have, having water, wind-driven rain. I practice first-party law, which is, by the way, I'm also an attorney. I practice first-party law, which deals with insurance companies, and sue insurance companies on behalf of homeowners when the insurance company has denied, underpaid, or delayed a claim. And if you're dealing with hurricane insurance, hurricane claims, they look for wind-driven rain. That is what is covered by the hurricane policy. Always note this, flood is not covered. So water damage from the ground up is not covered by your hurricane coverage. You need flood insurance for that. And so wind-driven rain comes through the windows, it comes through your doors, and it can come through your roof openings, right? So yeah, having wind mitigation and having some money set aside to help people who otherwise can't afford to mitigate their homes from this damage, especially here in South Florida, is huge. It's great, and so I'm excited about that. There's also going to be a homeless prevention landlord recruitment program. The program already exists, but they're putting more money into the program. And what this does is it matches landlords with individuals who have been displaced by COVID. So again, guys, this is great because we do have a lot of people who have been displaced because of COVID. A lot of people lost their jobs. And so the city of Pompano Beach is going to be putting money from ARPA. Again, for those of you who just joined, ARPA was the third federal stimulus COVID plan. And Pompano Beach is going to be getting a good chunk of money. And so what I'm doing right now is I'm just recapping how that funding is going to be allocated in the city of Pompano Beach. So the third category, so far we've gone over the first two categories, which were public health emergency expenditures and community response and resiliency. So next is going to be economic stabilization and recovery, and there's going to be $25,000 in assistance to small businesses that have been impacted by COVID. Guys, this is great. Now, Mayor Hardin made it very clear, guys, it's not going to be just call in and get some money. You are going to be vetted. You have to show an actual need, and you certainly have to show an actual business. We know there was a lot of fraud with the PPP loans, and people are starting to get rounded up and arrested for the fraud. Let's stop. Let's not be fraudulent out here. Let's come in with legit hardship to your small business. But there is going to be money, $25,000 in assistance to small businesses impacted by COVID, okay? Well, up to $25,000. The city is also working to connect businesses to other resources for assistance, which is important. There's a program called the Train to Gain Hospitality and Culinary Certification Program. I didn't know about this program. I think this is awesome. What they're going to be doing, it's going to be in conjunction with, I believe it was FIU, where individuals who are interested in hospitality, in the hospitality industry, they're going to be able to take certification courses, so credit courses towards a certification, and the program is going to offer job placement. So for people who are looking for a career shift and are thinking about getting into hospitality, which if you didn't know this, South Florida is a huge hospitality. That's a huge part of our economy, and it was hit by COVID. So this is going to be pretty awesome, and it's going to be, they're allocating $200,000 to this program. Also, our water taxi. Yes, guys, we have a water taxi here in Pompano Beach, and our water taxi was pretty much decimated by COVID. No one was going anywhere, right? So they are going to be allocating funds. It's going to be provided over 3 years to try and get the water taxi back up and running again. And yeah, that's pretty dope, right? So there's going to be some money allocated specifically to the government. Again, this is to replace funds that were not received because of COVID. Remember, a lot of people weren't really shopping local. So state tax revenue, that sales tax money, some of it goes to the county, wasn't coming in, right? So even the counties and the cities lost some revenue because of COVID. And so there's going to be money allocated. It's under 11 million, a little under $11 million allocated. And we are going to benefit from this, guys. So for fiscal year 2022, we will not have a millage or a fire assessment increase for you homeowners. This deals with your annual tax bill. You know, your taxes go up every year. Your millage will go up pretty much every year. And the fire assessment, that's what pays for our fire and rescue team, right? By the way, we have 7 new employees, 7 new firefighters will be starting. I have this later on. Oh, they start on June 28th. Woohoo! We're getting 7 new firefighters. They're going through training and all that good stuff, but cool. The hiring was delayed because of COVID, no in-person and all that stuff. So we're getting back on track, guys. So what else are we gonna get? So there's gonna be an Arts Unplugged program, $25,000 allocated to that. Again, arts are super important, guys. Events, festivals, we're bringing them back. We're trying to pump some money into bringing back some events and festivals because 60% vaccination means we get a pat on our back and we get to play again, right? So we're gonna have some arts and some festivals and some events, and it's $250,000 gonna be allocated to getting that restarted again so we can get back outside in the community. And there's also a community theater and playwrights residence program. Everything, there's gonna be audits all over the wazoo, guys. I literally wrote a bunch of audits because there's different levels of audits for the government services allocation and how they ultimately give that money out. Just so you know, the city of Pompano Beach does have a job center and a job placements website. I'm going to also include that link somewhere, maybe in the comments, because some people are still looking for jobs out there, and the city does have a jobs board. And so, you know, I want to provide these resources. They're out there, guys, and I think one of our biggest issues is a lot of people, we just don't know. We don't know what resources are available, so we're gonna start knowing what's out there, okay? The next committee meeting, the next commission meeting is gonna be July 13th. It's at 7:30 p.m. Is that correct? No, I'm sorry, that's something different. I'll get back to that. July 13th, this is important. So we have a CRA, it's a community redevelopment agency, and there was a lawsuit about how the funds were being spent or not spent. And there is a pot of $10 million, guys, $10 million sitting in the bank, waiting to be spent. Now, understand, this money has to be spent in the northwest residential areas of Pompano Beach. So the District Advisory Board is going to be meeting on July 13th at 6:30 at the E. Pat Larkin Center to take proposals from residents, guys. So again, if you live in the northwest area of Pompano Beach and you have ideas for how they need to spend or how they should spend this $10 million, again, the money is already there. They just need to start cutting these checks. Go ahead, guys. Again, July 13th at 6:30 p.m. at the E. Pat Larkin Center. It is open to the public, $10 million. Let's see. So then there were a bunch of nominations. I didn't go for too long, so I'm going to just go ahead and let you guys know. It's a lot of nominations. So the Golf Advisory Board, Richard J. Pereiro. Golf Advisory Board, Gary Ruderman. I'm just going to read out not the nominations, but the people who were appointed, okay? Golf Advisory Board, Patricia DeSantis. I think it's actually spelled pronounced DeSanctis, right? Also, James Bunn is on the was appointed to the Golf Advisory Board. And Roger Gendrich will be appointed to the Golf Advisory Board, but he is completing someone else's unexpired position, which expires in October of this year. The Marine Advisory Board, again, this is to fill an unexpired term, and so Lee Corson was appointed to complete that term. The Planning Board, Joanne Kovac has been appointed for 3 years. Planning and Zoning Board, Local Planning Agency. Here we go. Darlene Smith was appointed. Recycling and Solid Waste Committee, this is a 2-year appointment. Velma Flowers. Recycling and Solid Waste, again, 2 years. Janice Griffin. Recycling and Solid Waste, 2 years. Alice Chapman. Recycling, I feel like I'm at a graduation. Recycling and Solid Waste Committee, 2 years. Alternate number 1 is Keith Haig. And alternate number 2 is Dietrich Watkins. Unsafe Structures and Housing Appeals Board, we have Marcus McDougall. The attorney who will be serving on the board is going to be Whitney Ann Matavia. The real estate appraiser who's going to be on a board is Paul Suma. And the plumbing contractor is Joe Ospin. And finally, the electrical contractor is going to be Daniel Kajo. Okay, guys? Whew, that was a lot. So that's what happened last night at the Pompano Beach Commission meeting. The next one, oh, I forgot to write it down. It's on my calendar. I will be attending and I will do a recap. I'll try to do it the next morning. If not that evening, I'll definitely try and do it in the morning. It's probably easier because, like I said, it's a 3-hour party, guys. It's long, but there's so much good information. And I thought this one last night's was great because there is funding, and they were talking about funding and resources that are available for the community. And so that's really what led me to come on and talk about it, because guys, we need to know what's going on. A lot of money gets wasted because we just don't know what's out there. And a lot of people miss out on a lot of resources simply because we just don't know. And so in August of 2021, I can tell you a little bit about me and who I am and what I do. I'm an attorney. My name is Alecia Daniel-Hall. If you didn't know that, I'm also a realtor. And what I do is I help people build and protect their net worth. I own my own law firm. The name is Genesis Law, PA, and my practice areas are estate planning, probate, bankruptcy, and real estate. And like I said, I'm also a realtor. And in August, I actually quit my job and launched my own law firm, August of 2021. So yeah, I did this during a pandemic. And the reason why I did it is because, one, I was just frustrated with working for people who just didn't appreciate or value me. But also I did it because I wanted to be a part of the solution. For 10 years, I represented banks in foreclosure and bankruptcy cases. And so I literally was taking houses for a living. And I have to be honest, a lot of people always would ask, oh, was it difficult? Honestly, no, because it was paper. I rarely dealt with the individuals. But last year, I kind of had this epiphany where I just wanted to be a part of the solution and no longer be a part of the problem that a lot of people are facing. And so I've completely pivoted. So now I do help people in bankruptcy actions. And if you need to save your home through bankruptcy, it's something I help with. And as a realtor, because the foreclosures are back, the foreclosure sales are back, they're auctioning these properties again. And I hate to see people losing their homes. You may very well be in a situation where there is no way to save your home, but you can sell it before they take it, right? And so I am a huge proponent of getting people, if the numbers aren't going to work and you can't get a modification and you can't save the home through bankruptcy, at least try and sell that home and pay off that mortgage and at least get yourself a fresh start in that way. And so if that's something I'm really trying to get out in the community and let people know that, look, I'm here to help you. I've represented banks for 10 years, so I know what they're looking for. And I do know the process of getting a foreclosure sale stopped because you have a valid contract. And so that's something that I am now really pushing to help people, because the foreclosure sales, the foreclosure auctions are back, and they are no longer, the lenders have stopped requesting continuances. They are moving forward with these auctions, and they are weekly at this point. And so we need to try and save these homes, or if we can't save the home, we need to sell that house and get as much money out of it as possible and get out from under that mortgage debt if we can. So that's your recap, guys, of the Pompano Beach City Commission. The meeting was last night. And I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know. Give me your feedback. If you have other questions, I research things. As an attorney, it's something I do. It's super simple for me to pull things up and research things. And I like to learn, and I like to know what's going on in my community. So if you guys have questions about things, maybe you've heard about projects in the city and just want a little bit more information, let me know. Also, I guess I should go ahead and mention, I manage, in conjunction with my husband, the Grow CEO Spaces that is in the Pompano Beach CRA building, which is 501 Martin Luther King Drive Boulevard. And just so you know, it's a co-work space that's available for members of Pompano Beach. We actually opened up during COVID, and so we haven't really ramped up, but we are getting started with ramping up some programming, as well as, again, it's a co-work space available. So the name of it is Grow CEO Spaces, and gonna write a note here. I'm gonna also include a link if you want some information about the project and applying to join the co-work space. So yeah, I don't know why I didn't mention that before. I'm thinking about doing Saturday morning yoga sessions, maybe like once a month at the space, just to, build community, guys. It's all about community for me. So I hope this was informational, and if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me, Alecia Daniel-Hall. You can give me a call, 786-315-9638. I may not answer, but I do respond to phone calls, and I do text, right? So you can also text that number if you have questions or just want to introduce yourself to me. I'd love to meet you if you're a Pompano Beach neighbor. So have an awesome day, guys. And again, I hope this was helpful. Bye.